Welcome, it's your friendly neighborhood Badger here, and by popular demand, I have been forced to make this video here today. No, that's not entirely correct. I want to make this video to kind of talk a little bit about this build, the Discharge build. Now, this is not the build guide. I was going to put this in the build guide, but so many people are asking and I haven't finished the build guide yet. Today, we're going to talk about this Discharge staff. Yes, today, we're going to talk about my rod. Now, this Discharge staff is quite a good staff, and I did fully craft this myself. Now, it's pretty nice with its +2 to level of socketed lightning gems, which affects Discharge, the tier 1 Warlord's burning damage, +1 max power charge, +1 max endurance charge, and crafted fire damage over time multiplier on a potentiality rod base, which is +1 maximum power charge and maximum endurance charges. So how did I make this staff? Now, right before I talk about how I actually crafted this staff, I have to put a disclaimer here. I got lucky with this staff, and there's no way to purely deterministically craft this staff. I'll tell you as I'm explaining how I made this staff, what I mean by that, but let's talk about the basics and what we start with. So first of all, you're going to need a potentiality rod base. Now, this potentiality rod itself is going to need to be a base of, I think, eye level 84 is the minimum. It might be a little bit less than that. I would have to double check that, but you need to at least be able to roll the tier 1 Warlord's increased burning damage on here, and the tier 1 Tempest Kings, the +2 level of socketed lightning gems. It could also be cold gems, or it could also roll fire gems as well. It just has to be one of those three for Discharge. What you're going to need to do is get your potentiality rod and use a Warlord's orb, a Warlord's exalted orb on the potentiality rod, and then basically alteration roll until you hit that tier 1 increased burning damage from Warlords. Then you're going to need any other war staff that just has +1 power charges or +1 endurance charges. I chose power charges. I think power charges is the better option. And then once you've got those two staffs, making sure there's only one craft on each of them that is an influenced craft, so a Shaper staff with +1 power and no other Shaper mods, and your potentiality rod with increased burning damage and no other mods, you're going to use an Awakener's orb to craft them together. Now, obviously, you want to end up with the potentiality rod, so you're going to use the Awakener's orb first. Click the power charge, and then click the potentiality rod to transfer the power charge to the potentiality rod. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky. You can, at this stage, brick the item. What do I mean by bricking the item? You could roll mana on the item. I think, no, I don't think Warlord staffs can roll mana, but you can roll any modifier that you can't remove with Harvest, which could be potentially quite dangerous. Or if you roll some pretty bad fire mods or a really bad fire damage over time multiplier, you can't really easily remove that because you have a chance of removing the burning damage as well. So you're going to end with a burning damage and power charge staff. Hopefully, you should be able to remove all of the modifiers from this staff, apart from those two. And then you're going to try and block the suffixes. Maybe slam on some cold, maybe slam on some lightning, and then you're going to try and craft that prefix modifier of the +2 level of socketed lightning gems. Now, I know this is feeling quite convoluted. It's because it is convoluted. You need to slam with Harvest Crafts, either lightning or cold, and hope for +2 to level of socketed lightning gems or anything like that. And if you get +1, you basically want to remove it and try again. Remove it, try again. So it's pretty difficult to get all of that there. But if you do get your +2 level of socketed
hope you know what you're
gems,
doing.
I hope I know what I'm doing as well, Twigs. Then you can start the gamble. Now you can choose not to gamble this, but if you do want to gamble to get either that extra endurance or power charge on there, here's what you do. Alright, we're just going to cut right back there because I did actually forget how I actually semi-guaranteed the endurance charge. Now, as I said, it is a bit of a risk, but we do have to take this step by step, so listen closely. What you want on your staff is the prefixes. You want burning damage, socketed lightning gems, and then you just want to craft on something like physical damage. Let's say you want to just augment physical randomly from harvest, so you have all of your prefixes blocked. You then want one power charge, one open suffix, and you want to, well, two open suffixes, and you want to craft on prefixes cannot be changed from your crafting bench. Now this is, I think, a 2 Exalted Orb craft. Let me just double check here. But you're not going to need to remove it until you're done. Yes, it is 2 Exalted Orbs. So you want an open suffix with prefixes cannot be changed on your suffixes, and power charges. Then what you want to do, I'm actually going to jump over to Craft of Exile here to show you. What you want to do is slam on a new influence modifier, augment an influence modifier from Harvest. Now you can use the Forbidden Trove Discord to be able to buy any Harvest crafts you need. I will link it down below. And let me just run you through everything that can happen. So obviously what you're hoping for is to hit this endurance charge. If you hit any of the other Shaper mods, you can remove them. You can remove this with attack or speed remove. You can remove these two with critical, or this one with attack, and you can remove this one with critical. You can then also remove Warlord weapon range with attack as well. Now there's 2 things that brick the item, and 1 thing that makes it almost as good as an extra endurance charge. I would say probably as good as an extra endurance charge. If you hit Unholy Might for 3 seconds on kill, item is bricked. If you hit Skills Fire and an additional projectile, item is also bricked. If you hit Culling Strike, that's actually pretty good for the item, and you can forego the extra endurance charge. So that's the loop. Basically, augment. If you don't hit the influence, remove whatever you could, and then augment again. Now that prefixes cannot be changed. It's going to stay on there, and it means that you cannot remove the burning damage or anything like that from the other side, which is pretty darn nice. So that's basically how I did that. Now, that's pretty much it, how I got it to this stage. And then it's very simple from that stage. Basically, just remove that, remove the physical modifier from the prefix, craft fire damage over time multiplier. And then lastly, at the end, I slammed fire on there just to see if I could get a good fire mod. I obviously didn't, so the item isn't perfect, but it's pretty darn close to perfect. I'm not even going to attempt to try and remove that fire, because I will not be able to. But that is that's pretty much how I crafted this staff. So let me know how your staffs go. Show me your staffs. I would love to see everyone's staff. And you can message me in-game at thisisbadger. But that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was convoluted. The reason I haven't talked about it much yet is because it is so convoluted. Hopefully you can make as good a staff as mine. And I'll catch you all next time. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Badger out.